welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charney. We have James, the Fat Man Stevens. Hello. And the man whose ex-girlfriend once described him as that soft, pillowy thing you sit on when you have hemorrhoids, Ryan Preston.
I was definitely submissive in that relationship.
You wore the skirt?
I mean, you know, that's just...
I mean, if you look good, right?
On me, I had to submit, you know.
So for those who love Costco, no more Polish dogs at Costco, which is a bummer because
Really?
Yeah, for $1.50 you got a hot dog and a drink, which is honestly the best fucking deal ever.
Yeah, but why not?
From what I read, they were talking about, hey, we're going to have healthy choices like salad.
That's stupid and bullshit.
Like that's what my first thought was. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm eating at Costco is fucking salad. No, It's because I'm eating a hot dog that's been in there for 2.5 weeks. And
it's not because I can go in there and buy 5 gallons of mayonnaise.
Or that 12-gallon drum they have of ranch dressing.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, like, really?
I mean... Wait, so I think I might have missed the first part. Are they not selling hot dogs anymore?
No.
No more Polish dogs.
Wow. See, I could get having both. You know, like I get going after both markets, but
yeah,
so
just to throw one market away for freaking salad nuts.
The Polish hot dog has been removed from the lineup to make room for healthier options, including acacia fruit bowls, organic burgers, and a plant-based protein salad.
That is not going to go well. Just putting that out there. I mean,
that is not going to... where you put them.
It's not going to fly.
No offense to people out there, but Walmart and Costco kind of have the same demographic, and, well...
You know, I would put it this way,
Yeah, that's the thing, is I doubt they're going to stop selling hot dogs in, you know, fucking Park Bench, Illinois.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I can understand.
That's going to be some L.A., San Francisco, Chicago, you know, big cities
Berkeley,
where that kind of population is into it.
I mean, the ones where they actually go out and eat freaking lawn trimmings and shit. I mean, come on.
I mean, look, I have no problem with people, you know, with a plant-based diet, you know what I mean, or anything like that. But you know, I choose not to get my protein that way. That's me.
Sure. You know, I don't know. The problem is it's fast food. I mean, the reason why you eat there is you're with your kids or you're starving because or something. And a hot dog is a quick meal. Salad and other shit, you know, no offense, a hot dog's fast and easy to eat. So is fucking pizza. Give me a fruit bowl or a salad or something. I mean,
look, it's you know, not about that. I mean, obviously it's about, you know, some people have particular diet restrictions and some, you know, diets are become a little more prevalent.
Who's fucking eating at Costco and has a food, you know? I mean, I know there's got to be a couple, but
Dude,
I doubt it.
Costco understands that people are shopping there for like 4 hours.
They're not fucking
and you're getting a lot of just the hey, I'm hungry when I'm leaving this place kind of market. Or, you know, not to mention, Costco's always been known for pretty good quality shit. So people just tend to like the food, like they have good pizza.
But very few people are talking about the amazing Polish dogs at Costco. Oh, would you try those Kirkland brand hot dogs? Like they are the fucking meatballs at IKEA. I know people who go there just for the fucking meatballs. Never mind the furniture that has 12 dozen pieces left over when you assemble the motherfucking thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe this is me being the uninitiated. I've never actually walked inside of an IKEA. They serve meatballs?
Yes.
I haven't eaten there either.
They have Swedish meatballs.
But, yeah, I know they have Swedish meatballs.
Swedish meatballs at IKEA?
Yeah. And
they got some other shit too.
And since I almost died because of a meatball, I've never tried them, never will.
Is it like a restaurant, or are we talking just, hey, complimentary meatballs when you walk in the door?
It's like a fast food restaurant. There's tables and shit and...
Yeah.
You're fucking kidding me.
No, there's
IKEA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people like going to IKEA for they'd go there like to go get lunch and shit like that. I never did it, but you know, I knew people that
have. Thing.
I thought the same thing too.
It's like going to IKEA for lunch.
Yeah.
I mean,
correct me if I'm wrong. Are Swedish meatballs the ones like covered in gravy?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay. No, he's right. Yeah.
No, I'm legitimately scared of meatballs. So they're like, literally almost killed me.
They're the ones that, you know...
Why did a meatball almost kill you?
I got food poisoning so bad I was in the hospital for 6 days. Wasn't allowed to eat for 3 of those days.
And you blame that on meatballs themselves or meat?
All meatballs.
Well, let's just say it was because of the meat, but because the shape happened to be round, I'm a little hesitant to eat it. Meatballs that I didn't make.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying, you know, you probably got about the same shot of you know, any other ground beef sort of product.
Yeah, I got food poisoning from In-N-Out, and I still eat there. But that's me.
But you weren't sent to the hospital because of it.
No, I just don't go to the hospital.
That explains the dent in your head.
Yeah. Although I was...
that explains a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't go to the hospital. I really choose not to do that. And
my policy is not going to the hospital for broken fingers or toes.
Well, because you're there all the time. Like, you really want to visit there more than once a day.
He doesn't go to the hospital. He goes
to people's houses. I wouldn't go to the hospital for most shit, but I'm saying if I get shot, I'd probably walk in. But if I break a finger, you know what I mean? I know they're just going to splint it. I can do that here at home.
I can fix it with a hammer.
Unless it's a super bad break for something like that, yeah.
Just give me a hammer and a nail. I'll fix your finger.
Copay is $2. Then I'll go there for a hangnail.
Well, I was going to say, what was that? I forgot. Was it Shoot 'Em Up? The guy broke his fingers. He had his fingers broken horizontally.
Yeah.
Unless it's something like that where you're actually probably going to need possibly some surgery to reset it back.
Well, another one where some dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, if I need to set the bone, if I have a compound fracture, I might think differently.
Yeah, I might go for a compound fracture.
Oh, by the way, you know what the funnest thing is to wake up in the morning is waking up to having your 2-year-old beat on your head like it's a maraca.
Yeah.
I woke up the other day and my son was going, ba 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 ba. It's like, what the fuck?
Welcome to parenthood. Just wait till they start shitting everywhere.
He's 2 years old.
And I mean, not in a diaper.
Like I said, he's 2 years old.
Yeah, just wait till they're older and they shit. It just gets worse as they get older.
As I understand, they just run around the house and sort of shit behind them like a horse.
That explains a lot.
I was thinking of a crop duster, and kind of sprays as it goes, There you go.
That explains a lot. You walk into James's house, his mom just automatically starts complaining at him. So I figured, it's not the Jewish thing, it's you.
No, it's called, mental disease.
Right. Go ahead, blame the fact you drive your poor mom nuts.
No, she did that on her own.
I mean, isn't that why Ryan's parents moved to Arizona? Needed some distance.
That's probably true, actually. So, did you hear the guy went into the United States Postal Office and decided to fill out a change of address form, but decided instead of putting his actual name to change the UPS service headquarters address to his?
What happened? Did they pay attention to it?
Well, they found out, I think it was 2 months later.
So no, they didn't catch it right away. That's funny.
Let's actually see. I'm trying to see where it actually said, because I know it said it was 2 months later, and that the mail was so bad that the actual postal guy was leaving box crates of mail outside the guy's door, and it was people's information. It was checks to UPS.
So what really happened is there's not something that flags in the United States Postal Service says that, this person does this.
For nearly 3 months, he was receiving all mail addressed to the UPS corporate headquarters. And
I bet the mailroom guy's like, what the fuck am I doing? I've got nothing to do.
He deposited the checks into his bank account. Somewhere around 10 checks were deposited of around $58,000.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it went until January 16th of this year. And then they finally flagged it, and the investigators, what they noticed was, where is it? What he did, I'm trying to remember exactly it was that they actually saw. Let's back up here. What they found was that they weren't actually sure who actually did it, but he left his initials. There we go. At the first, the initials HS were written on the signature line, but the initials were then scratched out and replaced with UPS. And then that was apparently good enough for the United States Postal Office.
Why? I'm trying to figure out why he didn't just scratch out, grab a new sheet of paper. It's not like they don't have,
I think it was. I guess it was just spur of the moment. I mean, if you write your initials first, and you're kind of like, oh wait, no, I can't put my name on that.
I'm just surprised
I'm
just surprised it worked, because there has to be some.
It worked for 3 months.
I'm just surprised because there's not some poor person in a cubicle manually changing it. I'm just surprised it didn't flag. That's hilarious. I wonder if you could do that with like the FBI.
You know, I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Brian, if you start getting a lot of mail to your house.
Well, you know, when the people aren't receiving their mail also, isn't that kind of like a, hey, what's going on?
You know, I think that probably was it, but, you know...
Because it's the mailroom guy going, hey, boss, there's no mail. Well, they'll come. It's been 3 weeks.
But for 3 months this went on. That's the amazing thing to me, is that it kept going for 3 months, and the postal inspectors didn't actually show up at the guy's door until January 25th. So it stopped on the 16th.
So if he
was there a holiday I missed there somewhere?
So the question, if he didn't actually cash the checks, would he have gotten in trouble for it?
Probably, because it was under his handwriting.
Well, why? I mean, because would it be malicious intent? I mean, how exactly would you get in trouble?
Or would it just be the ultimate troll?
Because that's what I was thinking. Until James said, "Oh, he cashed checks," I was thinking, what would you charge him with?
I don't know. What they're saying is that he had been previously charged for one count of misdemeanor bank fraud for possessing stolen checks, but yeah, I mean, the amazing thing is that they actually say that the guy delivering the mail dropped it off at his apartment, literally leaving a tub outside his door. And then a few times the carrier said that he actually handed it to the guy through the door. I'm just thinking, like, what kind of postal service guy looks at it and it says, you know, UPS, the address, because it gets forwarded. It still has the actual address on it. Didn't think it was weird that he was handing this guy the mail to, you know, get the investigators to get in there. I'm just amazed by it. I just am more impressed by the simplicity of it.
You know, you're totally right. That the guy wouldn't ask all of a sudden his mail volume, you know, quadruples in an order of magnitude, trying to figure out, okay, why is this guy getting double the mail and he's like this address has ever gotten?
And it doesn't actually say like how many of the checks actually went through. I mean, it's just, you know, they just kind of noticed that the bank noticed that the transactions were, you know, getting higher in the depositing, and that's why they flagged it again. And so it looks like he's going to be, you know, going for mail fraud, which is a felony.
Well, he's got
and
a
then
couple
also, you know, at least
thing.
like 10 checks. So he's got a previous thing for mail check.
And if he's in California, if one of those checks is over $1,000, it's a felony. If it's $800,
I think he's in Illinois, but either way, it's, you know.
So another interesting thing that's come up within the last couple of weeks is Elon Musk's mini submarine. Now he's either Lex Luthor or Tony Stark in this, because people are comparing him to both. So apparently there was these Taiwanese soccer kids who were like 13 of them, 12 of them were stuck in an underwater. We're stuck in a cave. Somehow water flooded it. Elon Musk, within like 10 hours, designed a kid-sized submarine that was designed to actually work its way through the tunnel system. Apparently, you throw a kid in there, then you know you do it again.
Yeah.
The more the more I hear about Elon Musk, the more I like him. Just because not only is
you like the billionaire villains.
I think he's.
I mean, you did compare to Lex Luthor.
I think he's like both. Like he's a troll too on
Batman?
Twitter. No, I think he's like part Tony Stark, part you know.
Part Lex Luthor?
Exactly, because here's the thing. Wired came up
with
an
article.
Well, look,
I think Lex Luthor was a...
Wait, hold on, just 1 second. Ryan, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
So, yeah.
Who is this?
So so Wired came out with an article, says Elon Musk really doesn't like mass transit system. He's trying to, and it's an article. And this is Elon Musk's actual response on Twitter.
He's mispronouncing everything, and I just call it a bunch of twits.
This article is depressingly misleading and misanthropic. Article came from a very brief digression at an AI conference, not from an interview. He's basically fighting and arguing people who write articles about him that are negative. I love this dude. He's the richest troll on the planet Earth. at this point.
Is Laura jealous yet?
Well, I mean,
He fucks with people. It's hilarious.
I think I mean, well, what are you going to do? The guy definitely has enough free time to get into all these different types of businesses. He's making mini flamethrowers, for crying out loud.
I know, I saw those.
Which, by the way, was California state legal?
Scientist.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it's not a very effective flamethrower.
No,
I don't care. I actually was pissed.
It'll light your cigar.
I was going to buy one until I realized I didn't have enough money to purchase it.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to do the same thing.
But my point he definitely would probably be, the Lex Luthor, I think, if aliens invaded. But until, aliens invade, or we have one alien who's really powerful. See, Lex Luthor was always misunderstood. You know what I mean? He might have been kind of a shitty businessman, or maybe a bit shady, maybe did some backdoor dealings and things like that. I have no idea. As far as I know, he was a real estate guy. But then this alien comes over, and he's naturally a bit concerned about what it means for humanity. Does this make him inherently evil? Not necessarily.
So he's he's the South African Tony Luthor then. Just because I really do, because the dude, the dude's amusing as hell. He has so much money at this point. He has more than fuck you money. He's like, fuck you, I'm gonna buy everything you own and then throw it in the trash can and then pay your mom to do something with the guy next door. I mean, he's amusing as hell.
Alrighty. John's getting a little sadistic these days.
Well, no, because you think about it.
I guess we know what he's going to do with a lot of money.
I know.
Honestly, if I ever have a lot of money, I'm buying I don't know, 500 acres in Montana, and just nobody's ever going to see me again. I'm going to have a giant satellite dish for internet, and then I'm just going to fucking disappear.
So you're just going to go for being the
I'm kind of with you on that.
Actually.
I dig the idea of moving to the middle of nowhere with just the world's most bitchin' internet connection, and just have a horse or something, And
I'll have a helicopter, and I'll have a guy just, I'll pay a guy just to sit there in a helicopter all day long. No, thank you, Jeeves. I'll be back.
I was watching one show, and I think it was like one of the gun shows or something, and they flew out to this guy's ranch out in the middle of nowhere.
It was probably American Guns.
It might have been, and they flew him in a helicopter and all this shit. And
it was
the guy
American Guns.
Basically walks out onto his wraparound porch and tells the guys that his bitchin' gun safe for one, that they can try the guns long distance shooting off his porch. And he had a full on clear area you could see for miles. And they were doing long distance shooting. I'm like, that's kind of the place I want.
Yeah, see, I just want 500. Right. I want 500 acres in Montana. I don't really care about anything else. I just want a bitching internet connection, enough money to be left alone. Maybe give sharecroppers to somebody who wants to use 100 acres for something. Here, have this corner. Just leave me the fuck alone.
All I really want is the ability to have a bitching gun safe in an arsenal that makes Carlos Leder, if you guys even know who that is, jealous of my arsenal. That dude had a tank. I mean, if you guys don't know who that guy is, go look him up. And speaking of which, I wanted to bring up this. Have you guys taken the time to watch the Netflix show Drug Lords? Brian?
No.
So they released season 2. And I'm sure you guys know El Chapo, the drug cartel guy.
Yeah. Oh, is this the drama?
Well, it's basically them telling the stories. It's not the Narcos.
Okay.
It's not Narcos.
So it's a documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary about different drug lords all over the world.
I haven't seen that one then.
Anyways, they brought up El Chapo, and I knew quite a bit about him. And I know there was a shootout at one of the things between his bodyguards and the Colombian Marines. But they actually had video that they played in the documentary series of it, and I could not believe the amount of automatic gunfire that they played in the video.
Why?
Because it was literally you're watching something like Halo. I was impressed that these guys were going room to room, literally full auto, firing back and forth where 4 guards were killed and 1 Marine was wounded in the arm.
My first question
is, they were literally throwing grenades, smoke bombs.
How bad were the shot with the people? Were they? If they're, you got a whole flock of people with automatic weapons.
Well, I mean, if you're going room to room and it's literally a house, that's what it was. A little house in Colombia. I mean, you've seen those places. They're not very, open and spacious. They're tight quarters, and you're doing full auto through walls and ducking. And
my favorite thing about all those guys is the amount of cash they have on, and their biggest concern is rats.
Yeah.
So did you guys see or hear about Travis Pastrana jumping Caesar, the fountain in Caesar's Palace?
No.
It happened.
Yeah, I was actually watching a couple of clips yesterday where he was jumping some cars and some buses, I guess, in a tribute to Evel Knievel.
Yeah, a friend of mine mentioned it on Facebook. I'm like, what? I didn't hear about this because I like Travis Pastrana. He's like my favorite crazy guy to watch. And he jumped over the Caesar's Palace fountain, and I'm thinking, this has got to be the tamest thing this guy's ever done. Basically, he just has to jump.
Yeah, I mean, did he do like a double front flip on it or some shit? That's what I expect from Travis Pastrana. Let's see if I can kill myself.
I thought he was going to do a knack or some sort of effect. No, he just stayed on the motorcycle, jumped over it. So I was like, I bet everybody watching was going, wow, that's amazing, but
no, I mean, for tame. Like Travis Pastrana, that's actually like I mean, he was doing that at like 2. Before he could walk. Shit.
It's pretty amazing to watch him do it.
Yeah, there's people in the like anybody under 30 in that audience was sitting there thinking like, you better do a triple backflip. But the one thing he did do, he rode like a big Harley. It was not a dirt bike.
I would think it was an Indian, wasn't it?
It might have been like an Indian. It was definitely. Shit, it could have been like a Triumph or something like that. It was definitely beefed up, but it was a big heavy bike.
Can we get him to jump the Springfield Gorge on a skateboard?
Because Evil used a Harley, which was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the heavier it is, the harder it is to catch that angle and not endo that shit when you
But
land.
I mean, he was working with what they had at the time, I mean, everything was a tank back then.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's funny because no matter what he does, if it doesn't have a flip involved or something crazy, it's like super anticlimactic. Like people my parents' age, oh, that's amazing. People 20 going,
he didn't do a barrel roll 360 flip.
Yeah, what was that? Come on. He's not crashing.
I mean, what are you making this time? I mean,
so it's like the dude totally set himself up to fail no matter what he does if it's not crazy.
Well, I remember watching the X Games where he did the first flip on the bike, and
he did the first double backflip.
Yeah, but he was allowed to keep doing it after there was no points corrected.
Yeah.
So there was like no points in it for him. He just wanted to do it, and all of X Games said do it.
Because I think, and I could be wrong, I think Carey Hart was the second person to do it, and I think there was another person who did it before him.
Yeah.
But he was the first person to do the double backflip, and I think somebody did a front flip, which on a motorcycle is not.
Yeah,
I think he was the first one to do a front flip also.
That's
nuts. Yeah, well, Travis Pastrana did the front flip too, but it was after somebody had already done it. Yeah, but it's like the same thing like Tony Hawk doing the 360.
Was it 900?
Yeah, well, he did the 360 and then he did the 900. And the 900, he almost did like Pastrana, where it was like no points and he just had.
Well, he kept doing it to do it, if I remember the story correctly.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of surprising that. I guess if it's just a tribute to Evel Knievel, it's not really, it needs to be something spectacular. I mean, it was spectacular at the time.
He didn't actually do it.
I'm just saying it's a tribute to him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't need to be, blowing him out of the water. Let me show that Evel Knievel sucks compared to me type thing.
I am wondering if they beefed up the suspension, because if it was like just a standard motorcycle, I bet that landing hurt like hell.
Dude, I almost guarantee it was his own bike.
Well, I bet it was his. I mean, honestly, well, if you looked at it, it was pretty badass. Had a white tank. I think it had the Indian logo and gold leafing. If he didn't own it, I'd buy it if I was him, because that's a pretty badass looking bike.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you, though. I mean, you kind of expect him to
do something.
Yeah. But, I mean, he is tame these days. I mean, as far as rally car goes, I mean, he's still tame.
Well, at this point, he's more metal than man.
Still doing rally car?
I think he's been doing the
Ryan, do you know what
I
he's
think
doing
he's
in the
been
X
doing the
Games these
Nitro
days?
Circus show a lot. I don't think he does rally racing at the moment.
What?
Do you know?
No, he still does rallies.
Oh, does he? Because
yeah, for sure.
He
He's
quit.
been racing since 2010, 2011.
Yeah, I remember him
know
switching over to doing rally car, and like John said, he was doing stuff for Nitro Circus,
And
which
he was
is
doing
pretty cool show.
I think he was doing NASCAR, but I think he just got too bored of it.
I could not
Plus the
see
fact
him
he-
enjoying NASCAR.
Plus the fact, if I remember correctly, his contract actually stated he can't touch a motorcycle, and I don't see Travis Pastrana not being able to touch a motorcycle for any certain period of time. It's just him.
I mean, I understand that as far as, insurance legal purposes to try to get the guy not to touch a motorcycle, but
Well, yeah, well that.
I mean, I don't see him ever agreeing to that.
Well, that and one crash, even if it's a bruised arm, you're not going to race. There's too much of a risk that you're going to hurt yourself, especially the man who's held together with so much metal.
I wonder who's broken more, him or Jackie.
He broke something on his shoulder or something like that, and he had a metal plate put in, and he did something and broke it again. They actually having to start. They're beefing up medical stuff for him because he keeps damaging it. It's actually pretty amazing.
You mean they got welders in there now? They brought welders into the emergency surgery room.
He bent some sort of titanium bracket, so they designed it beefier so it couldn't be broken as easy.
Damn, that's actually talented.
So Ryan, do you have anything?
You know what? I was actually just coming across some information not that long ago. Apparently, this had been kind of rumored for a little bit, but I haven't really been paying too much attention to the new movies coming out the next couple of years kind of stuff. But they were making a Joker Origins movie.
Yes.
You know who's directing it?
No.
Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips. So which? I'm curious on how they're going to do this.
You mean which Joker
you know
origin?
Joker?
Well, yeah, I mean, because there's kind of there's varied origins. How are they going to play it? Is it going to be the Jack Nicholson Joker? Is it going to be the Heath Ledger style?
Come on, they're not here Jack Nicholson and the. But there's a couple of comics that have definitely broached the subject. I think the Red Hood was one of them.
Well, hold on, let me rephrase it.
Killing Joke ventured a guess to it, but they're going with Joaquin Phoenix.
Hair lip?
So are they going? Oh,
yeah.
Sorry for those who just got triggered. So are they doing the more gangster Joker or the more psychotic Joker? Because that's pretty much the gamut between Jack Nicholson, who was the gangster, and Heath Ledger, who was just crazy Joker.
I'm definitely going to go with mob ties, but definitely way more twisted than Jack Nicholson.
Okay, so it'll be like
but also Todd Phillips. So who knows what the origin is going to be? Maybe they're going to go with the Killing Joke, where he was like a comedian or something,
Because I was wondering, there was I forgot what it's called. There was a Batman movie that had like the origins of Batman, and Joker was in it, and explained how Joker was a mobster for one of his girlfriends. Was a mobster who was tied to his girlfriend's dad, who was a mobster, and explained the evolution of that way. So I was kind of wondering if it was going to be towards that one. Well,
it's probably going to be something entirely new,
I hope so,
but
or at least a
probably DC approved if it's going to tie in anyway with the any of the Justice League stuff.
So you think they're still doing that?
Well, they're definitely going to have to do a Justice League too, because they already tipped off the what do you call it, the Dark Side payoff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'd be interested because I know it's still not doing good. I mean, I don't see them giving up on it, but it still hasn't. I don't know. I hope they do it, but it still hasn't done well enough that I think really would allow it to have a sequel.
Well, there's too many fundamental changes that they make that pissed off too many fans that was going to be their sort of core audience, and I don't think it dragged in enough of the off-the-street passive fans to really sustain itself. But I think they would do one more just for the payoff.
I hope so. Oh, and the Batman movie I was talking about was Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It was made in 1993.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually pretty good one.
And it's,
that's right.
And it's my favorite.
That one. That was the first feature
animation
that was ever in the movie theater.
What?
The first big animation movie that was ever in the theater. That was the one. That was right on the heels of the animated series from what, 95?
This one was made in 93.
Well, the animated series was still going.
Oh, so
yeah.
Maybe it was like 91 or something like that.
So what do you mean the first big...
When the hell did the animated series start?
I think it was 90, 91.
So what do you mean the first big animation that was in theaters? Because
I'm pretty sure that was the first like big animated movie that was in a theater.
Yeah, wouldn't that be like Snow White?
Snow White shit, I don't know. It was the first thing to do something. Let me look it up before I talk out of my ass.
The animated series had a run from 1992 to 95.
Because I'd be curious, because if that was the case, because I know Disney had a bunch of shit come out in the 50s and 60s that I would have thought would have held that crown.
Yeah, I mean, which definitely makes sense that it would have been in the theaters. Let me look up what I'm talking about here.
So this is the only comic book film nominated for an Annie Award for Best Animated Feature. It lost to The Lion King in 94. By the way, this is great podcasting, but everybody's trying to hurry up and find what he's talking about.
No, I was looking at different
stuff.
Well,
move along. Matter of fact, earlier I was watching, you guys ever seen the Penn and Teller Fool Us? Comes on CW.
You told me about it. I haven't watched it yet.
Is it still on? I've watched a bunch of clips.
I never freaking turn on CW because most of their shit sucks ass. Agreed. But no, there's one guy that you need to look up. You need to look up this one particular dude who was just on like last night's episode. Is a guy named Ryan Hayashi, Hayyashi. Okay. Yeah, look this dude up. He did a trick on that show. And he's got a YouTube clip where he's actually doing it at another place, but I really, really, really recommend looking up the one on the show. It might be the best coin magic I've ever seen in my life. This shit was amazing.
Did he pull it out of Penn's ear?
I mean, basically.
And so another interesting thing coming out sometime this year is The Rock's version of Towering Inferno is coming out. I'm curious because The Rock hasn't had a lot of good run with movies lately.
What? He was the best gay cowboy I've ever seen.
Well, the last year, didn't he? Was it last year or the year before that he had that earthquake
Journey
movie?
To the oh, yeah.
There was an earthquake movie that bombed.
Was that San Andreas?
Yes, San Andreas. I know he did. Was it? There was that Disney movie where he played. Was it the Polynesian guy?
Journey to the Center of the Earth. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
I don't remember.
You're talking about Maui.
Yes. Yes. But he doesn't seem to have a good run of movies lately that I remember.
Yeah, I think he's an underutilized actor. I haven't seen Baywatch. I've heard good things about it. I haven't
even though the movie bombed. I think part of it is I think he's stuck on kind of the same action roles. I would be curious to have him play a more serious role, or maybe a more like a Boondock Saints style action movie where it's a serious action movie versus because everything I've seen him in lately is like a comedy based.
I think that's all he does.
I'd love to see him in something different because most of the movies I've seen him in lately have sucked.
Scorpion King wasn't really comedy, but that was a really shitty movie to begin with, though.
I would consider the second one a comedy.
But, I wouldn't.
But the first one I think was a comedy too. I would have considered that.
There really wasn't a lot of acting in Scorpion King, though, for him.
No, because basically there was lending his name to a very bad CG likeness.
Oh, you're talking about the one.
Okay, so I take back everything I said about Mask of the Phantasm, by the way.
Wait, hold on. What was that?
Go on.
Ryan?
I take back everything I said about Mask of the Phantasm. I don't know where the hell I was getting that. As soon as you said, like, Snow White, I'm thinking, like, of course. Why the fuck wouldn't that have been in...
No, but I know what you mean,
I thought I remember it being the first in something. What were you talking about, the Scorpion King?
Well, he was bringing up Dwayne Johnson doing another film.
Because Dwayne Johnson hasn't had, it seems to me, even though he's made a lot of money, it doesn't seem like he's had a lot of movies that have become hits the last year or two.
How fucking dare you speak an ill word?
No, I'm not speaking ill of The Rock,
president of our United States.
Name a movie of his that has done well in the box office, because the...
what was the one? Be Cool?
Didn't Jumanji just crush it?
I don't know. I didn't see Jumanji.
You know, that might have, because I know...
I did. It was fucking cool.
Huh.
Jumanji might have actually did it, because I know there was the two that James mentioned. It was the San Andreas bombed, the that David Hasselhoff TV show.
Oh, Baywatch.
Baywatch bombed.
And Journey to the Center of the Earth didn't
made
do good
about $1 billion.
So he has one then. But he's had a couple that recently. And the Maui did really well, but that's a Disney movie. Disney movies were almost always do well.
John Cena's going to do that too, though. He's doing Ferdinand.
Yeah, see, the difference between John Cena and The Rock is The Rock actually has a lot of personality. John Cena just doesn't come across having a personality besides being kind of a dick.
Yeah, wasn't he in? Was it Be Cool that he was in?
Yeah.
The sequel to Get Shorty. Right?
Yeah, Be Cool was the sequel to Get Shorty, and yes, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was in that. I think that might have been one of his first movies.
Yeah, but that was an epic acting job. I mean,
that was awesome.
I mean, there's nothing. I got nothing bad to say about that. That was just awesome. And I mean, that to me, it's like I want to see more of that. And I think that's what they did. Like John was saying, is that he kind of got stuck in the comedy gig for a long time. I mean, he did. Like I mentioned, was the Scorpion King. John was thinking about it as the CGI one that they did in The Mummy.
I forgot he did one that was actually the title of it.
Yeah, and then there was another one where he was like the main actor for Scorpion King. Yeah. And I mean, there really wasn't much acting to be done in that film, and the film actually sucked too.
Well, that movie was, I think that movie was more like a B movie that way, just to see if he could act. Because he was one of the best parts about the movie, but he just came off of doing wrestling.
But to me, that was the same thing that they kind of did with Arnold in the beginning. Is here's mindless action, we're going to throw you in mindless action. I mean, how many Hercules did he do? And Conan?
But in his defense, Arnold was never a great actor.
Well, I mean, they didn't let him speak in his first movie.
Well, it's because you couldn't understand him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So The Rock, I think they kind of took him as like, you're an Arnold Schwarzenegger / Hulk Hogan, here's mindless, stupid action film.
Okay, I actually have to call you on that one. He was nowhere close to Hulk Hogan. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not saying that, but I mean, Hulk Hogan did shitty-ass action movies for a while.
Well, there's a difference as being a huge Hulk Hogan mark.
I don't care.
The Rock, far as ability to do promos, had better timing. I mean, I'm a huge Hulk Hogan, as close as being as heroes I have, was one of my wrestling heroes.
But I mean,
The Rock had amazing timing. One of the reasons he was able to transition.
But if you look at all wrestlers are trying to follow the Hulk Hogan transfer out of wrestling into acting, which Hulk Hogan really didn't do a great job on it. But I mean,
I would say they're trying to follow Rock. Honestly.
Name a really good Hulk Hogan movie after.
I really like Suburban Commando.
Oh God!
But it's a bad movie.
I'm not surprised. I mean, he owns the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. Come on.
Hey, Dolphy, I want you to sign it.
You know what? If you can get Dolph Lundgren to sign it, I will take back almost everything I've said against the Punisher.
I'm going to have to see if he has a Twitter account now.
I mean, I prefer Dark Angel. I come in peace.
The Rock,
but, you know.
I mean, one of the things The Rock had for him was, he had a great sense of comedic timing. He had a good writer.
You just like The Rock strudel, don't you?
But he had a great sense of timing, far as writing, as far as what he did. And
do you smell that? Do you?
It's a bad joke. So I just think
he had a run on it for a very long time.
I think he just transitioned better than Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan was definitely typecasted as being Hulk Hogan, because in the '80s wrestling was the king of television.
Yeah, but
it's actually kind of making a comeback a little bit.
Hulk Hogan?
No, wrestling.
No, wrestling in general.
Well, one of the best things that's happened to wrestling now is the fact that there's more places. I don't think you get as much money as you will in the WWE, but there's a ton of indies. Japanese wrestling is huge. There's Ring of Honor. There's Lucha Underground. There's TNA. I think they're still around.
I like Lucha Underground. The only thing that kind of gets annoying is the storyline.
Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins bought the NWA a while ago.
A long time ago. Yeah, he's like one of those lifelong fans. You know, so I was listening to an interview with John Cena maybe a couple of months ago, and he comes across as the nicest guy on the planet. You know what I mean? He's just like a super genuine, nice dude who really loves, wrestling and, the sport of it all. And, it basically just said it like, look, it's like the same thing as watching like a superhero movie, except you're watching the sort of thing happen in real life. And it's supposed to be kind of cheesy. And when he explained it like that, I was like, okay. Obviously I'm still into fucking Batman at 33.
Well, no, that's what wrestling is. I mean, wrestling is...
Dude, don't talk shit about Batman.
Wrestling is pretty much...
I'm not. I'm just saying, you know.
Wrestling at its base is it's almost like an opera, you know, or a soap opera.
Yeah.
You have the good guys, the bad guys, the story of good and evil. I mean, the only thing that's really changed in wrestling is you have characters like Randy Orton, who I would say are more in the gray. There's the anti-hero now instead of being, you know, the face or the heel. I love wrestling. I mean, the one thing I think has gotten better over the years, and this is just biased because of my age, I think the ability to tell the story in the ring has gotten better because I think the audience just doesn't have the patience for long, drawn-out stories. Like, they used to do one story a year in some wrestling companies, and it would just be a long build-up.
You guys watch Glow yet?
Yeah, and I was actually going to mention that. Is like, that's one of my favorite parts of Glow is when the soap opera actress who's trying to turn into wrestling goes, "Oh, it's a soap opera? I can do this."
Yeah,
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah. So there was a woman.
The second season just came out. It's fucking great,
dude. Yeah.
So there's a woman by the name. Her WWE name was Ivory, if I remember correctly, and she was actually in Glow. She's in an interview of Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, and she actually talks about like her experience as a real Glow wrestler. Check it if you can find that podcast. It's totally interesting from somebody who was there. Also, there's a couple other ones with Chavo Guerrero Jr., who was he's a WWE wrestler, or was Lucha Underground. He was actually talking about, because I think he's one of the producers. He talks about his experience in that too, which is pretty badass. About actually training the girls to do it and how it's actually empowered them as women to do it. Because you look at it, I mean, I don't want to wrestle. That shit looks like it hurts. And they're talking about it hurting, but how they miss it. And it's pretty cool to listen to.
It does sound kind of cool to listen to.
So, are any of you guys interested in the Tom Hardy Venom?
You know,
and it's Tom Hardy. What?
The Tom Hardy. He's in Venom in 2018.
Oh,
and IMDb.
Venom.
Sorry, probably didn't say it clear enough. It's considered an action horror sci-fi according to IMDb, which has me really excited.
I'm into just about anything that fucking Tom Hardy does.
Yeah, I like Tom Hardy too. I think what was it, Lawless? I really liked that film.
Fucking Lawless,
really
man.
Good.
Well, I'm really excited the fact that they actually have the horror element. I mean, it might actually be really good. Like
that
dude,
well, Tom Hardy is an absolute fucking chameleon. That dude is a great character actor.
I'm really hoping it's going to be good, because I'll be honest, I haven't been thrilled with most of the Spider-Man movies.
Oh, well, nobody has. I mean, well, except Homecoming. Homecoming is fucking great.
It's on the list of things to see, but I have so little time at this point that it's like...
yeah, I've seen Homecoming. I did like it. I don't know. I kind of like the skinnier guy. What was his name?
The previous one?
Is that the previous one? The skinny guy?
Because there was the Garfield guy who was dating Emma
Stone.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. I actually liked his kind of.
I like the new guy, the kid, because he has the feel of Peter Parker.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I like that,
and he talks a lot of shit.
But I mean, I kind of liked it that they actually brought in that the actual kind of formula thing of making the web shooters, because I think every Spider-Man should have web shooters. Everyone.
You mean Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean the freaking.
I agree. The Tobey Maguire
one. That was
different. I have to admit, I appreciate kind of trying to figure out a new spin, but you're missing a lot of gimmicks with removing his web shooters. Because
was that just a bad pun?
Why?
A new spin?
That was a bad pun.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just putting that out there.
Because the gimmick with running out of the spider, the web stuff, added a little bit more depth to the character, other than, psst, hey, I always got webs,
Yeah, I know.
Well, and it didn't have to be, like oh, he turned into a spider, like full blown. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, like the way everybody made it sound.
No, it wasn't. But
yeah,
you know what I mean.
For the web shooters.
Yeah, I mean, the web shooters was just part of the thing of like him, landing in garbage cans or having to switch it out.
So I'm looking at IMDb and I find this fascinating. We got to wind this up in a bit. So this is IMDb's current top movies. I'm going to go through the 10. So from 10 to 1, The top 10 right now, it's Fight Club at an 8.8 reading.
Wait. What is the list again?
This is IMDb's top rated movies right now.
Okay. All right. Really?
So
Fight
number
Club?
10 is Fight Club at an 8.8 rating. That surprises me considering how many people I know like it. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly has an 8.9. Pulp Fiction with an 8.9. Here's the one that surprises me because everybody bitched about this movie. Lord of the Rings, the first one. Fellowship of the Ring for an 8.9.
You know, that actually kind of turned around when it got released in a DVD and they started doing the extended edition. So, I mean, theater-wise, it was...
Not made it did really well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It did really, really well, but it kind of got a lot more steam when they released the extended versions.
Because some of it made a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Schindler's List, this one, in my opinion, should be higher up as number 6 in an 8.9. One that really surprised me, and it's one of my all-time favorite movies, was 12 Angry Men, has an 8.9. Dark Knight is a 9.0. Godfather, here's the one that's probably going to piss James off. Godfather Part 2 is a 9.0. Godfather is a 9.2. And the movie that made shit in the box office, number 1. Can anybody guess it? It bombed at the box office.
Taxi Driver.
Shawshank.
Bingo!
Shawshank?
A 9.3.
You know, I'm not upset that Godfather 2 was rated higher because that's the interesting one.
No. Godfather, that's number 3. Godfather Part 2 is 3. Oh, sorry, I misheard you.
No. Yeah.
So you really like
right?
you like the second one.
I like the second one. Yeah, I like the second one above the other one because that's when, you know, they go to Italy and they tell the backstory of him.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's the good one. I mean, I would have been really pissed off if, you know...
excuse me, I messed up on the Lord of the Rings. It's Return of the King is number 7, not Fellowship of the Rings.
Oh, Return of the King, sure.
Either way,
yeah,
I mean
you know,
they...
Shawshank, what is Shawshank at 1?
Yeah, Shawshank was number 1. What was the top-rated movie?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things, if you look up just like everybody's top 10 list, that's 1 or 2.
Thanks to basic cable internal.
It's like Shawshank Redemption and fucking Citizen Kane as far as everyone's concerned, you know?
True. I wasn't really a big fan of Citizen Kane, honestly.
At this point, how many people have seen it who are not film nuts?
Okay.
I've still never seen Dr. Zhivago.
That I'm not surprised.
Goodwill Hunting is number 101 at an 8.3.
Really?
That should be up more because that is such an amazing movie.
I'm kind of surprised Beautiful Mind's not even in there. Maybe it's top 20.
I'll have to actually see.
Yeah, because I mean that to me is a really well acted film. I mean everybody in that film is amazing. Same with Goodwill Hunting.
Fucking terrific movie.
I mean,
honestly, I'm not surprised that one not being as high.
You don't usually hear me give Ben Affleck credit for acting,
Holy
but I mean
shit.
for that one, I wouldn't say
an
it's really acting.
8.2.
What?
Beautiful Mind is an 8.2 rating, so it's probably it's way back there. I'm not surprised though. That movie is as good as it is. Most of the movies in the top 10 have a pretty good rewatchability factor.
Yeah.
Beautiful Mind, as much as I like it, it's not a movie you could watch even once a year. I think would be pushing it.
I don't know. I could probably watch it once a year if I wanted to.
I
just don't really want to sit there and rewatch movies all the time. I mean, I like to watch different random shit all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
So 8.2,
I've been in a pretty nostalgic kick lately watching a fucking bunch of old things that I've seen a bunch.
So how many times have you watched Giggly?
Just the once, luckily.
All right.
Until his better half forces him.
I cannot see... Well, I mean, I have seen her parents' movie collection, so...
No, she might do it just to torture him.
No, because she'd probably have
to
sit there,
For the record, I have seen movies that are that shitty more than once.
True.
So how many weren't directed by people who do it on purpose?
I still need to track down Mako Jaws of Death. If anybody has a copy of Mako Jaws of Death and you want to like either send it to me or give me a copy, I would be more than willing.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan, oh my God, Preston, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.